So in this video, I'm going to show you how to print your graph in languages other than English. See this one in Chinese? Okay. Before that, I'm going to download the Chinese and Japanese fonts, and I will store that in a folder data in my D drive. Okay, so I have the fonts folder inside my data folder. This one, I just download the Chinese one. I'm not sure if I can use Japanese in the Chinese font, but you get the idea. Just make sure when you right click the font file, when you look at the properties, it has to be in .ttf. Okay, so let me just try it out. So first of all, let me go to the command prompt and I navigate to my Python. You can use Sublime Text like I did, but in this video, I'm just using the default Python. You can feel free to use your own text editor. So I'm going to navigate to my environment folder. So it's going to be in, let me show you how I navigate to my folder. Before that, I create the virtual environment in a new folder called my trade. You can name it whatever you want. I name it as my trade environment, and it has all the scripts Python execute file. So let me just go to my trade env, and it's going to be in the scripts folder. You can either activate it or you can deactivate it. You get the idea. You can just, let me just get into the Python. It doesn't matter whether you activate it or not, unless you pip install anything, okay? So in this case, I'm not going to activate it. I'm just showing you how I get into the Python idle. Let me just get into it. So and I have the Python shell like this, and I can start coding. So first of all, I have to grab some stock data from Yahoo Finance. And in this case, I'm going to grab Apple's historical price. So I need the pandas library. In case you didn't have the package, you can feel free to go back to the terminal, to the command prompt and pip install that. I showed it in another video, so you can feel free to visit it. Since I'm using pandas data reader 0.5, it's an old version, so I have to do the pandas core.common.isList like. I have to assign it to the pandas API. Okay, pds.api.types.isList like. Then I can run the pandas data reader, and I just call it web. Actually, I need to specify the time rate, so I have to import the datetime package as dt. And I'm going to assign the AAPL, which is Apple. The start date is going to be, I just pick whatever day. It can be 1985 Jan 1st. Okay, and the end date is going to be today's date. So I use the date, which is the datetime library, and I pick today's date. So I use the datetime.today's function. And now I'm going to store all the historical stock data in the table called df, which stands for data frame. So I use the web, which is the name of the pandas data reader package. I use the data reader method to grab the stock, which is AAPL, Apple. You can feel free to change to whatever stock you want. Use the method is Yahoo, beginning from the start date, here, start, and the end date. The end date is today's date, right? Let me run it. You may, oh, actually, very good. I can get it. Sometimes you may run into error, like error whatever. Then simply redo this one until you get no error here. Let me just print out the first 5 days. It's purely optional. I'm just printing it out just to get an idea on where I am. And I'm getting the first 5 days of the record. And usually I will do the tail to print out the latest 5 days. So I know where I am. I need the printing tool to print the graph, right? So I need Matplotlib.pyplot. In case you don't have Matplotlib, just go back to the terminal and go back to the command prompt and pip install Matplotlib there. Okay, so just assign it as PLT. And now I need the Chinese or Japanese or whatever font, language font, right? So I'm going to import the Matplotlib.font manager as MFM. Just give it a shorter name. And I have to specify the source where I'm going to get the non-English font, right? So I just call it font path. Okay, the font path is going to be a read. So use R, and then I go find out my font. So just pretend that I download all the fonts in the data file, fonts folder, this one. Okay, right click to get the properties, and you get the location. Okay, just copy down the location, Control V, / and then what is the name? Forgot. KAIU. Good. It should be a .ttf. Okay, enter. Very good. Then I start plotting my graph, right? So I assign it as figure.plt, which is this one, .plt, Matplotlib, and it's a figure. So I assign a figure, and then I assign plot plt.y label, which is the y-axis. Excuse me. Okay, so before, actually, I forgot one thing. I have to define the font properties, right? I just call it prop, and it's going to be the MFM, which is the font manager. The font manager here, MFM.font properties. And it has an attribute called fname. Fname equals to the path, font path, which is this one. Whoops, this one. Then we can start plotting the graph. The first one is the Y label, which is the label that you saw on your vertical axis, the Y axis. The Y axis should be the price. I called it the price, but it has a font properties equals prop. Let me just type it in Chinese. Okay. Whoops. I printed out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And then the X label is going to be under date. I have to add a rotation here. Okay. Let me just change that. Oops. Y label. Let me just copy everything. The rotation should be 0. Otherwise, it's going to be showing the vertical 1. So it equals 0. And then for the X label, which is the label of the x-axis of our graph, is going to be the date. Okay. Okay. Doesn't matter. We have the font properties equals prop. Before the title, I want to specify the time. So let me just call it start time equals the first date of the record, which is Jan 2nd, 1985. All right, I'm not sure if I can use the string time here. So specify the year, month, and day. Oops, I can't. Okay, it doesn't matter, so I just call it start time equals the first date. Let me try again. I'm not sure if I can do this. Year, month, and day. Yeah, great. I can do that. And the end time, actually the end time is the, I'm going to show the last record. So it's going to be -1. The reason why I use index is, as you can see, index, which is the leftmost column, is the date column. So I'm pretty sure what I will get in the index, right? So it's a date. Now I can use the plot.title to print the title of our graph. Before that, I have to wrap around everything in the double quote. Double quote is better, I think. Yeah. So I put an F before the double quote so that I can use the curly brace to wrap around our variable start time. So I just called it from, which is, so let me just print Chinese, from start time to Oh, okay, sorry. So it's with this one to the end time. Okay, let me just make it a little bigger. Okay, and just press enter. As you can see, it will be showing this, right? I have to plot the graph. So it should be, let me plot the adjusted close column, which is this one, adjusted close, right? For the dates. So I better use df.load, which you put the x column and y columns. Okay, the x is the index, which is the date, and y is adjusted close column, and then I just put plot. I just assign whatever name, so I just call it graph, and it's going to be equal to the plot object that I create. Okay, then I do the plot.show, and I'm showing the graph variable here. Okay, let me just press F5 to run it. Oh, must be saved. Do I need? No, just press enter. Oh, you know what? It's very strange. It only shows the y-axis. Why? Let me see. Oh, you know what? For the x-axis, I think I have to. I see. So this time, let me just save it, and I think it's better to do it in a file. It's better than a shell because it runs in weird stuff. Let me save it, and I just call it, let me give it a name. Just call it data. No, just call it my tray. Yeah, give it a name. Print graph in non-English text. Invalid syntax. Ooh, too bad. Oh, I see. I just create a new file. Control N. And I just copy everything here. Okay, just copy everything here. All right, good. Just save it in the print graph. Oh, how come? You now have multiple edit window. Too bad. Oh yeah, good. Okay, then I copy this one. Actually, I type it. It's faster. So I import matplotlib.iplot.splt, import matplotlib.fontmanager as mfm. The font path is going to be equal to, okay, let me grab these stuff. Okay, define a figure, properties, and the font price. Plot.x label should be this one. Just add a rotation here. Sorry, equals 0. And the x-axis should be the date, right? So this one should be the date. The date. And the title. Oh, double bracket. Sorry about that. The title is this one. I need to, oh, I have to specify this one, the start and end time. Yeah, let me just grab all these. Specify the start time, end time. Okay, and then specify the title. Then I'm going to print the graph. The graph object is going to be equal to the df.load. X label, X column, Y column. The X column is the index, and the Y column is adjusted close. Then I do plot. Then I do plot.show the graph. So hopefully this time works. Let me press F5. Oops. Oh, typo here. Sorry about that. Label. That's a typo. No wonder. Okay, F5 and run. But it's strange that it lets me print the title. Oh, too bad. How come? Let me try again. Let me try the one that worked before. You know what? For title, I forgot to add the font properties. Font properties equals prompt. So this time should work. Let me try. It's still strange. So I can get the title in Chinese, but not the X label. I just don't get it. So the X label doesn't work. Okay, anyway. Let me figure that out later. So it works in the, this is the y-axis. It can be printed in non-English font, and this is the title. Okay, I'll try to explore the x-axis here later. Thank you, bye-bye.